Hey everybody, Randy here from Glacierware. We're going to focus on otters today for our tutorial. Otters, like other water-based mammals, tend to have thicker leather, tend to shed water better than like a fox or a coyote, and they're warmer. They're actually a warmer fur. Uh, Otter compared to beaver, probably the same amount of warmth. However, otter does it with shorter hair, so it's a denser under fur. So it still gives you the warmth without the fur length. I'll show you kind of the color range first here. This would be an extra dark, and this would be a 2 to 3x size. Here we go. Probably an extra large here, 1x to 2x, but this would be a brown. And then you can kind of see here we get to the even paler. And these are big sizes also, so we have an extra large here and a 2x large there. Here's two dark ones, but this would be a medium, and this smallest one would be a small. So those are the size ranges. A lot of people think that like other furs, the paler skins come from the west. And it is true with other species, but you can get brown otter or pale otter in the same areas that you get dark otter. So the Northeast, which normally produces darker pelts, darker beaver, redder foxes, darker red foxes, can produce a dark otter or a brown otter. Maybe not a super pale otter, but you can still get different color variances in any region. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the primeness of an otter. Otters basically come in three groups or three classifications. It is a blue pelt, a prime pelt, and a singed pelt. So a blue pelt is an early pelt where the leather will be a bluish, blackish color. This is an unprimed pelt, again, it'd be a fall otter. And what you're seeing are the roots of the guard hairs on the leather side. So it gives it a blue color. It's because the leather has not primed fully and it's not white. And when it primes fully and it's white and that the otter has nice straight hair, that can be a select or it's just called a number one otter basically. You can still have a number one otter and have a singed otter. Now a singed otter is a spring otter. It's a late season otter, and what happens is, similar to a woman that hasn't had her hair trimmed in many months, and she gets split ends. Well, that's what an otter gets. So after months of swimming against brush and brushing against rocks in a riverbed or a stream bed, the guard hairs start to split basically, and so you get the split ends on the guard hairs. And I'm going to kind of show you, hopefully we can get this, we can focus on this, but you'll see it gets a glossy tip to it, and this would be just a mildly singed otter. You almost have to have a trained eye to notice that. This would be a heavily singed otter. So this would be a late spring otter that was picked up maybe during spring beaver trapping. But it's very singed. It has that metallic look to it. But it still has value. Not as much value as a straight-haired otter. But they can still be sheared, or plucked and sheared. Some people will dye them, but you can still see a little bit of that glossy edge. The dye won't cover it completely, but plucking and shearing will. Now here's a plucked and sheared otter. Now you have to pluck these, or well, actually shear them a little bit shorter than a beaver, but the look is very similar to a beaver. It's a slightly shorter nap, but it's just as warm again because it's dense. And without having a beaver right next to it where you could compare the touch, it's just about as soft as a beaver. So with the rising cost of beaver right now, you know, plucked and sheared otter is more reasonable, and so it's an alternative. It's a good alternative actually too. Otters are, you know, traditionally used for hats. They can be used for, you know, anything that you would normally use it for. But I mean, otter can be made into coats, blankets, hats, scarves. You know, there are some traditional uses. Traditional archers will still make quivers out of them. Native Americans use otter strips, which will be wrapped in their braids. You know, it's a really, I think it's an underused pelt, underutilized, and I don't think people really understand that it's the quality of an otter, and they're reasonable right now. So I think that concludes today's video. I would like you to please remember, do not let 2% of the population dictate or legislate what you can eat or wear. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe and give me a like. Thank you.